Remus Lupin, a 7-year-old kid, woke up one day as a werewolf. The kind and clever professor was one of the most compassionate yet misunderstood characters from Harry Potter. You must know him as a shield that protected Harry from the dangers. But how many of you know the story of his transformation into a werewolf, a curse that flipped his world upside down? Marvelous Videos brings such exciting content for you every day. Kindly take a moment to click the like and subscribe buttons to support our efforts. So what really happened with Remus? Who turned him into a werewolf? And most importantly, why would someone do that to an innocent child? Let's take a deep dive into the world of wizardry to find the dark secrets behind Lupin's curse. But before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us it means a lot. Thank you. Let's begin. How did Remus Lupin become a werewolf? Lyle Lupin was an employee at the Ministry of Magic and married to Hope Lupin. The couple gave birth to their only child, Remus Lupin, on March 10, 1960. When Lupin was a young kid, Fenrirer Greybach, a werewolf wizard bounty hunter, was being tried in the Ministry for killing 2 Muggle children. He was the only one who figured out Fenrir's identity as a werewolf, but when he was released by the court, Lyle criticized, saying the werewolves deserved nothing but death. That insult bruised Greybach's ego, and he targeted Remus to teach his father a good lesson. He snuck into young Remus's room and bit him. Although Lyle was able to ward him off with curses, he failed to prevent the damage. His son had to pay the price for his prejudice. Remus's parents sought help from many healers and tried everything to reverse his condition, but they failed, since at that time there was no cure for his condition. However, Albus Dumbledore, headmaster of Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry, allowed Remus to attend. Who is Fenrirer Greybach, and why did he target Lupin? Fenrirer Greybach was a tainted name because of his savagery and preference for attacking children. Leader of a werewolf community, he aspired to raise an army of strong werewolves to take over the wizarding community, and defenseless and weak children became the easy targets for him. Early in his life, a werewolf bit and infected him with lycanthropy. After Voldemort's rise to power, his main followers, the Death Eaters, who staunchly believed in pure-blood supremacy, began recruiting dark creatures to overthrow the Ministry of Magic. Fenrir became a part of it, but was never completely accepted as a Death Eater, nor did he ever get the dark mark on his forearm. Despite his and his race's usefulness, Voldemort held on to his prejudice against the werewolves. He used them only as a weapon to threaten people, and he would send Fenrir after their children if they refused to obey him. In one such attack that happened in 1965, Fenrir was accused of killing 2 Muggle children and was presented before the court of the Ministry for confrontation. However, since the registry of the werewolves was inadequate and ill-maintained, Fenrir's identity as a werewolf was not known. He took advantage of the situation and appeared to be a Muggle tramp. He convinced the court about the genuineness of his facade, but Lyle Lupin, who had authority on non-human spiritual apparitions, saw through the lie. He proposed to detain Fenrir until the next full moon night, which was only a day away, to confirm his identity. But the ignorant committee members turned down his proposal. Satisfied with the turning of events, Fenrir began taunting Lyle. The situation escalated to the point that Lupin spat venomously that werewolves were soulless, evil, and deserved nothing but death. Fenrir was released without any punishment, but before his memory about being at the Ministry was erased by a memory charm, he fled, only to plan revenge on Lyle Lupin, who had insulted his race. He found Lyle's weak point, his 5-year-old son Remus. The boy was resting in his room when the werewolf broke in and bit him. Although Lyle arrived quickly and drove him out of the house, Remus had already fallen victim. What was Lupin's childhood like after the bite? Life after his transformation was full of hardships for Remus. His parents tried to get help from many healers and did their best to help him live a normal life, but all their efforts turned out to be futile. Albus Dumbledore allowed Remus to get admitted to Hogwarts School under special arrangements. He attended the school from 1971 to 1972 and was a part of Gryffindor House. He was taken into the Shrieking Shack on the full moon night to prevent him from hurting his peers. But this isolation only fueled his frustration, and he began self-harming. The painful monthly transformations were agonizing. His screams were misunderstood as violent ghosts by the Hogsmeade villagers. To save Lupin's secret, Dumbledore encouraged these rumors, and soon the Shrieking Shack became the most haunted building in Britain. Despite Remus's condition, he made some good friends at the school, including Peter Pettigrew, James Potter, and Sirius Black. However, he could never bring himself to reveal his secret to his friends, fearing they might despise him for his identity. Remus was a sincere student, but also a prankster. Together with his friends, he had to join the detention for their mischief. He made stories to explain his monthly disappearances, which only stirred intrigue in the Slytherin student Severus Snape, whom the Marauders used to bully. Eventually, Snape finds out Remus's secret. How did Lupin manage his condition at Hogwarts? An abandoned house in the village of Hogsmeade was considered haunted for many years because of the terrifying screams coming from it. Albus Dumbledore used this building to keep Remus's lycanthropy a secret from the world and encouraged these rumors about the building. And thus, the place became popular as the Shrieking Shack, like we mentioned. Madame Poppy Pomfrey was a healer working in the school who escorted Remus to the Shrieking Shack, where he bit and scratched himself in frustration and isolation. The building had no windows or doors that worked. The only entrance was a tunnel under the Whomping Willow. Lupin's friends, Sirius Black, Peter Pettigrew, and James Potter, discovered his secret. Instead of resenting him, they decided to support him. They learned to shapeshift into Animagi to accompany Remus during his transformations, since he could attack only humans. They also nicknamed their werewolf friend Moony and named their group the Marauders. During their 5th year at the school, James learned to become a stag, Sirius became a dog, and Peter became a rat. After Remus was escorted to the Shrieking Shack, the three friends used the secret tunnel that connected the school grounds and the building to meet their friend. Together, they wandered Whomping Willow and the school grounds the whole night. One year, Sirius came up with a bizarre idea of throwing his nemesis, Severus Snape, in front of transformed Lupin to stop him from spying on them, but James Potter saved Snape at the right time. However, Snape witnessed Lupin's truth, but was forbidden from revealing it to anyone. What is the Wolfspane potion, and how did it help Lupin? A complex and innovative potion, mainly made up of aconite or monkshood, could relieve but not cure the symptoms of lycanthropy. Damocles Belby invented it before the 1993-94 school year. It oozed blue smoke and had a disgusting taste. It should be consumed uniquely. A dose of a full goblet filled with the potion must be consumed every day for a week before the full moon. Even missing one dose could nullify the effect of the previous doses. Preparation of this potion was a difficult task since its ingredients were very expensive. Most of the werewolves lived in poverty and did not have a stable career that promised them the affordability of the ingredients. Besides, the preparation process was so complex that an average werewolf could not brew the potion independently. It helped the drinker to ease lycanthropy's psychological symptoms and aided them to conserve their mental state and human consciousness even in their transformed physical form. It enabled them to sleep through their transformation, and any kind of tampering with it could result in devastating after effects. When Remus found out about the potion, he realized he could not afford to prepare it by himself, and thus decided to do more research in the Forbidden Forest. He encountered a fellow student named Chiara Labosca, and managed to get the potion from her on some occasions. When Lupin found out that Chiara was giving him potions made only for her, since the ingredients used were enough to feed only one person, he refused to take them. In 1993, Lupin returned to Hogwarts as a defense against the dark arts professor, only because Dumbledore offered him an unlimited supply of Wolfspane potion brewed by Severus Snape, the potion master. How did Snape's actions affect Lupin? Severus Snape was a potion master and head of Slytherin House at Hogwarts. He was a fellow student of Remus and his friends. Slytherin-Gryffindor rivalry seeped through their tense relationship, and Snape became an easy target for bullying by the Marauders. The rivalry made Snape hunt for ways to expel the group from the school for years. The group had created the Marauders' map, which helped them locate Snape's location at any moment. Lupin's monthly disappearances sparked curiosity in Snape, giving him a ray of hope of a shocking discovery that would help him get the upper hand on the group. To get him off their back, Sirius lured him to enter the tunnel under the Whomping Willow. Snape was excited to find out Lupin's secret and followed Sirius's instructions and ended up in front of Lupin, who had gone through the transformation on the full moon night. James Potter saved him in time, but Snape discovered Lupin's secret. Dumbledore made Snape promise he would never reveal this secret. Least expectantly, Snape kept that promise for 19 years. After Lupin joined the school as a professor, Snape even brewed a Wolfspane potion for him on Dumbledore's instructions. One night, Remus Lupin forgot to consume the potion and shifted into the beast. Snape exposed him to the Slytherin, which resulted in Lupin leaving Hogwarts. Although Snape appears to be an antagonist throughout the storyline, he is in fact Dumbledore's confidant, who not only protects Harry Potter, but also helps Remus Lupin. What was Lupin's role in the Order of the Phoenix? Albus Dumbledore founded a secret society named the Order of the Phoenix to resist the Dark Wizard Lord Voldemort and his followers, the Death Eaters, in the 1970s. This organization was founded on its base when Voldemort began his campaign to take over the Ministry of Magic and kill the Muggleborns. It played a very important role in the First Wizarding War and became victorious in 1981 when Harry Potter defeated the Dark Wizard. When Voldemort returned in 1995, Harry informed Dumbledore about it, and he alerted all the Order of the Phoenix members, including Remus Lupin. The Ministry refused to believe the news, and thus the Order had to work underground. When a group of teenagers was attacked by the Death Eaters, Lupin, along with his fellow members, rushed to the Ministry to help. They saved the students, but Sirius Black was killed by Bellatrix Lestrange. During a battle with Voldemort, all the members of the organization received serious wounds except Dumbledore and Lupin. Remus was pivotal in guarding Hogwarts during an attack by the Death Eaters. He also fought alongside Dumbledore while protecting Harry. In 1998, Neville Longbottom led Dumbledore's army to Hogwarts, where Death Eaters were in control. The school was evacuated, and a plan to fight against Voldemort was chalked out by the school's professors. Remus, Arthur Weasley, and Kingsley guided the troops to the school grounds. Remus fought fiercely to stop the evil wizard, but Antonin Dolohov, a dark wizard and staunch follower of Voldemort, killed him. What was the social stigma and discrimination faced by Lupin? Even the magic community was apprehensive of the werewolves, so you can imagine how humans would have reacted after knowing about their existence. These extreme prejudices faced by the race of the beasts became the very cause behind Remus's fate. He had to pay the price of his father's discrimination and prejudice against the werewolves. Because of this negative societal perspective, Dumbledore kept Remus's lycanthropy a secret. When his friends accepted him for who he was, it was a pleasant shock to him. After finishing school, when he tried to build his career, he had to take jobs way below his caliber. He couldn't stay in one place for long and had to move from one place to another after people around him figured out his identity. When Dumbledore offered him a job at Hogwarts as a defense against the dark arts teacher and an unlimited supply of Wolfspane potion, he began a new chapter of his life. But when Lupin forgot to take the potion once and transformed, Severus Snape revealed he was a werewolf. As a result, he had to resign and leave the school. Society, including his own father, looked at the werewolves as soulless and barbaric creatures who shouldn't exist at all. Remus had to live in a constant fear of someone discovering his truth and was apprehensive of getting too close to people, because he feared that they would resent him after finding out who he was. How did Lupin's condition affect his relationships and family? Remus's condition deeply affected his family and relationships. His parents loved him dearly. They were concerned about his condition and tried to help him in every way possible, though none of their efforts were useful to him. Aside from his friends and Dumbledore, he rarely encountered people unfazed by his truth until a woman named Nymphadora Tonks walked into his life. They were both members of the Order of the Phoenix during the Second Wizarding War. Remus was a lonely man, but soon he was smitten by the brave witch. However, that attraction frightened him. In simple conditions, he would have walked away from this dangerous situation, but with the threat of Voldemort looming over their head, he couldn't. He was so used to being undermined that the thought of Tonks reciprocating his feelings never crossed his mind. After a year of friendship, Tonks finally broke the ice. Although Remus was delighted to know she had feelings for him, he was also crushed by the weight of his beliefs. He had always believed that he could not marry and have a family because of his lycanthropy. He also didn't wish to pass his curse to his child and ruin their life. But Tonks persisted and declared her love for him. Remus had to confess his feelings, and they married in northern Scotland. He shielded her from the social stigma attached to him, but when Tonks became pregnant with his child, Remus grew worried and feared he might pass his condition to his child. He tried to escape reality and abandon his family, but Harry Potter stopped him. In 1998, Tonks gave birth to a son, and together the couple nicknamed him Teddy. Despite his initial reservation, Remus accepted his fatherhood with joy and made Harry his son's godfather. Overcoming his insecurities stemmed from the societal stigma around his condition was not easy for Remus Lupin. Yet, with support and love from his beloved ones, he gradually accepted his relationships and the responsibilities that came along. What is Lupin's legacy after his death? Remus Lupin shared warm relationships with the Marauders, the Order of the Phoenix, and many more. He had a son with Nymphadora Tonks named Edward Remus, alias Teddy Lupin. He was a half-blood wizard and a metamorph magus just like his mother. However, he did not carry his father's lycanthropy. After his parents died in the Battle of Hogwarts, Teddy was raised by his maternal grandmother, while Harry Potter became his godfather. Remus is remembered even after he died for his love, resilience, and bravery despite the hardships he faced in his life because of the societal stigma and prejudices. His love and affection for Teddy and Tonks also form a substantial part of his legacy. His contributions to the Order of the Phoenix's resistance against Voldemort are exceptional. He protected and guided Harry and his friends, helping them win against the evil. Because of his and Tonks' sacrifice, his son could live in a better world. Marvelous verdict. Remus Lupin's life was no less than a roller coaster ride, yet undeniably inspiring. He suffered for his father's mistakes, yet did not succumb to the rawness of his curse. He held on to his humanity despite the feral nature of his beast, changing the perspective about the monsters. He shaped the lives of his students, fought for the Order of the Phoenix, and embraced his fate during the Battle of Hogwarts. His character was so lovable that even his creator, J.K. Rowling, found that writing his death was one of the hardest tasks she had done. We hope you liked the video. Let us know your thoughts in the comments, and we will see you in the next one. And if you liked our content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. Have a good one and be safe. Thanks, everyone.